Hey guys, and welcome back to some more Factorio sending supporters to space, and I am joined by a special guest today, Mojo.
Hello, greetings.
Greetings.
Am I a discount Madzuri
Your
or a
discount Matsuri,
discount
although
D3?
even... yeah, same intro, but he's actually bringing something different to the table than Matsuri. He's here to help us set up his Make Everything factory, which I have mentioned in previous episodes, and we're finally at a point to do that. I have torn down most of the starter base aside from a few things which will be nuked. And it's all stored in about 12 helicopters and this entire like 325-3 train. And it's all going to be pumped into the Make Everything here.
I like how you're going to nuke the old base. It's one way to get rid of all those small wooden power poles.
Yeah, exactly. And everything else there, I mean, it's so inconsequential in the grand scheme of a mega base that it's not worth my time packing up.
Yeah.
So,
I had a train full of modules eaten yesterday, speed threes,
you gotta be kidding me.
train car. I was like, oh, I'll just make more. And the base has already finished making more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, once you're on mega base scale, you really can just nuke pretty
Yeah.
much anything.
Yeah. One make everything. So you've got the blueprint book there, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So the first entity, or the first one in the book, is the controller itself. And you can use it as a starting point, but you don't necessarily have to. And its original one was sort of set for that original starting orientation where you come in from the left-hand side, but you can orientate it to any direction you like, top, right, bottom.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is with this ME controller is that substation sitting on its own that needs to connect to the main factory itself.
Okay, that makes sense.
I should also note that this is also a new controller that I've just developed, which is a little bit easier, a little bit nicer looking, and PowerPole OCD'd than the old one.
Wow,
And
perfect.
there's a few other things we'll get to a bit later.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I'm excited.
So, do you want to start with a controller or do you want to start with any module? Because you can do the modules first or the controller. It's either or.
We can start with the controller kind of as just a... That way we kind of know where the left edge is, because I do want it on the left edge of the factory.
Okay. So let's place that down. I'm encouraging you to do
Yeah,
it
yeah.
because people can't see me doing it.
I'm figuring out the spacing here. You said... Now, this is a special one that has some trains incorporated. I'm just trying to figure out, like, which way are they supposed to come from? Like, top or
In the
side?
blueprint, I have them coming in from the left. So say this track here and then coming in.
So would they
That's
be
how
like...
it happened to
So
work
they'd
out.
be like above or below this controller? If they're coming in from
If
the
you were
side?
there, it would be below.
Okay, trying to figure out this placement here. Make sure we have enough room for can always clear trees. Let's just put it here. Now,
Yep.
I'm short on wall. Of course, I have all the expensive stuff in the train and stuff, but the one thing I'm missing is wall.
As long as we got the blueprint down, that's fine.
Yeah, and there are lights
This
in
thing
that
will build
train.
us.
Yeah.
Okay, so the order you build it doesn't really matter. You can add modules as you wish. I actually have a storage one. That was a later one. Originally, I didn't have storage in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just sort of grew that way. Now, for our purposes, we could probably start with doing the various production items. So we can skip over the storage for now. And all you need to do is interlock the substations in the corner to link it together. So the
I
first
see.
one is inverters,
Okay, so let me...
and it should overlay the first substation from the controller.
Okay. I think you're in the way. Surprise.
Ah,
Still in the way. Down more. There we go.
all right. There we go. So that's all of your inserters, minus burner inserters. Burner inserters are actually in the power production.
Okay, that would make sense.
And then, yeah, same. It goes with the because you'd normally only use it for power production.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next one is power and combinators. These originally were two separate ones,
Mm-hmm.
but I now combine them. So we could I guess we could just step through doing each one by one.
All right, and it doesn't really. I'm like I could just place it next to the inserters and it would be fine.
Yeah, just as long as it could go to the left, to the right of it, interlocking poles, or down. Either way is fine.
Um, okay, we'll just go over here.
Yep. Now, next one is belt logistics, which I'm guessing you don't really want.
No, I don't need that at all.
No. Yep. So we can just move on to rail logistics, which we
Definitely.
do need. So it's sort of somewhat ordered in order of like inserters is first, just because it's the top of the list, and then the logistics. Bot logistics is next.
Let's see.
This one's significantly upgraded on the old one, and works much faster.
Fantastic, because we will need a lot of these. So it looks like 3 Roboport things. That's good. Bots, 4 Roboport things. Chest.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so next is fluid logistics. Now, because inserters, it's only a half, you can actually rotate the fluid and put it on the lower side. But you want to you don't want to just whack them down. You want to think carefully, because fluid logistics, it includes pipes, which can be used for engine production, which this can also do. So to minimize bot travel, you want to make sure it's near anything else that uses pipes. So you may not necessarily want to put it there.
True. Now I could put engine production, if I did put it by the inserters, I could put engine production just below it, perhaps.
That is true.
Let's do that. Let's fill in this.
Depends on what you want to do with the trains.
Right, that is true. Which, I haven't planned that far ahead. We'll just we'll go with it. We'll see what happens.
I should also add that this is the sort of the generic implementation, which covers everything. There's nothing stopping you from setting up a small one like this down at the nuclear plant or such that is dedicated specifically to that task. Like, it could just be specifically, like, you could have some sort of rail shed which just produces rail components.
That's definitely a
like trains and stuff. The only thing stopping that is you have to supply it with materials by some means, and generally centralizing your production always works out better.
That is true, yeah. Just fill in.
To an extent, I should say. Like, you centralize your smelting. That makes more sense, but and you centralize your circuits and such.
Right.
So what do we got next? Next is production. So production is your assembly machines, centrifuges, mining drills, everything you need to produce, basically.
Okay, and
it also contains some beacons, but there is a supporting beacon build as well, if you want serious beacon production.
Should probably would. So, looking at this, we know that the production it's going to take gears quite a bit. It's going to take circuits and iron and stuff. So this one I may want to be a little more careful with how I lay out in terms of the trains.
Yeah.
Now,
actually, I should check that blueprint.
Yeah.
I probably should have put this one down first, because it's actually off-grid to the track.
Oh, geez. Yeah, we should probably actually place the train one first.
It looks like, so how about I place this down, and then we'll realign everything, because it's easy enough to restart over.
Oh, wow.
So there's the special train yard.
Oh, this is quite large. Okay. I didn't quite realize what scale it would or would not be.
This is also leading into the next thing with the make everything, is that it assumes, like, it can't produce its own intermediates other than gears. Right. You need to provide it with circuits, advanced circuits, processing units, lubricant, sulfuric acid, or anything else needed for the higher tiers.
Yeah, and I mean,
I even included trash and resupply as well. I thought of everything.
You have? Jeez, apparently. I was looking through this. I'm like, wow, he really did cover everything.
Yeah, so here is some smarts so you can see each combinator, iron plate, copper plate, then circuits, advanced circuits, processing units, stone, steel, and coal, I think that is. And so all this does is look at the, where is it, the connection over here. It just looks into the network and lets the train into the unloader when it falls below a certain amount. And this is just like what we had in the 15 sim map.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so it doesn't. It essentially won't send trains in unless they're actually needed.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
Now I think this is actually set up for right-hand drive too. I did grab the right one.
oh,
I actually
perfect.
made 2 of these.
Oh wow, that man, you really, really did think of everything. Um, and just for people watching the video, because I'm sure there's people who are going to be wondering this, why the make everything doesn't make its intermediates. I mean, my personal guess would be that because on this scale, like to actually make enough circuits and stuff itself would make the build massive. I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, it
This was originally designed around my rocket base and as well as it was influenced by the 15 sim map. On the rocket base, the main production did everything, and the make everything just sipped off what it needed to do its own thing.
mm-hmm.
And its sole purpose was just supplying outpost trains and such, and continuing to build the anything the base needed.
Right.
It was extended in the 15 sim map to include some circuits, but it's not really intended, just because of the bot travel. And the way the circuit network works, it tends to always just go insane, spaz out, make a little bit, request, dump it back into the network, request and dump. And so it's creating all these active bots for no real good reason.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it would just make the build massive as well. I mean, for all this production and stuff, to have to produce all the circuits and stuff locally would just be a little bit outrageous.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to realign all this.
Yeah, I also noticed the controller, you need 2 tiles worth of gaps here. So there needs to be a cell in here and then a cell up there for the controller to fit. Unless you want to move the controller down. Depends.
Well, I mean, we pretty much need to move all this, right? I mean, we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, this whole thing needs to move.
That's easy enough.
Yeah, I'm thinking. So I guess we could just tear it up and then just replace it all.
Yep. As it stands, we haven't committed anything, so we're now just laying it out.
Yeah.
So we can just, tear it up, relay it. It's fairly straightforward.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tear up the controller too, just so we can place that a little more easily. Great. Inventory always full of stuff. Never changes, not even in single player. Alright, there we go. So logistics, that's perfect because it's super close now to the rails.
Yeah. What you could actually do potentially is have the final products up here and then the intermediates down below. But they do have to cross the center, which isn't necessarily a good thing. Oh, I'm trapped.
Yeah, that is a
Oh
bit
no.
of a distance. You really are trapped.
There we go.
So I'm thinking perhaps like, I don't know how, well, the circuit thing should be like the same size as these, right? The not circuits, gears.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking it probably should be like almost next to this because these are very gear heavy materials here.
That is true.
So if
We could put it, we could actually put the gears to either end. So like one up where I'm standing and then another one down below.
Right, so if I put this like here, now it's a half module,
Yep.
so I would want to full module this. Like full.
Yep.
Okay.
And
so spin it around.
to do that, all you have to need to do is just rotate 180 degrees and that'll fill the other half.
Fantastic. And then down here. This thing, you don't really, at least I don't really realize how big this is until we actually start building it.
Yeah, it just keeps on growing, does it? As you say, oh, I need this, and there's boom, there's another lot.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so let's see. I skipped a few modules here trying to get to the gears, so
So we also have the fluid production, which we skipped over too.
Right. That was like the pipe one, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean that could go down here, and then we could put engines or something next to it.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. I mean, typically, do you make this like a full module or leave the other half for something else?
I leave the other half for something else. One of these is pretty strong.
Yeah.
I actually originally had this set up as two individual halves, so the three that I'm standing next to was an optional extra. But generally, the supporting pipe helps with serious engine production.
Okay. Uh,
So the next thing,
trying to find. I feel like I skipped a lot. I'm trying to find. There's electric engines. Okay, here's engines. So these could go next to it. And then can electric
we
engines?
should put a storage in at some point.
Yeah.
Too.
I'm not sure. Where should that go? I mean, it should go somewhere fairly central. Hmm.
Given that the unload goes into active providers just here, we probably should actually put it where bots are. So we can move bots. So if you want to remove a module, this is actually a good point. All you need to do is deconstruct, or you can, so that doesn't interfere, deconstruct from the combinator up here, next to what I'm standing at, the one touching the one touching the the substation, and then all the way down to the opposite side, and that'll clear everything inside, leaving just the substations and roboports. You want to watch out for the constant combinators from the neighbors and the substations themselves. Worst case scenario, you can just restamp the ones that you've already. If you accidentally like hit the substation or one of the constant combinators, you can restamp that build.
Right. Okay, this should do it.
That's it.
Perfect. So yeah, so now the storage module, which
So that's first one after the controller.
oh geez, I've lost myself in the blueprint book.
So last thing is speed modules, then utility.
There we
There's
go.
actually a smelter in there as well, and then the controller.
Okay, so this guy go like that.
Yep. And that actually leaves room for something up top here as well.
Oh, I see. It does leave room for a whole nother thing, kind of. Or does it?
So you can either fill it in with more storage, or you can just put something else there, or leave it blank.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Most of the implementations that we've done, like in the 15 sim map and such, we did a full one.
Yeah, that would probably be good. I mean, the storage actually fills up surprisingly quickly.
Yeah.
Um,
I think my belt base is the only time I've ever used a half one.
right. Which would make a little more sense.
Yeah, because it's actually quite a small. It'll actually be smaller than this.
Right. So I'm looking here. I'm not sure. It looks like the electric engines with unbarreling cannot go
Okay.
here.
So you got a few choices with the unbarreling. There's actually two, or with the electric engine or anything that uses liquids. You got a choice of either unbarreling or no unbarreling. So it depends on how you want to deliver the train, with a tanker or with a train full of barrels.
Oh, geez. This requires planning ahead.
Well, fortunately, you have. Well, I've left a constant combinator here with, say, acid, and then there's one here with lubricants. So the trains are right here. So if unbarreling is needed, fluid tanker is needed. You can put a pump right here and straight in.
Okay, well then,
I don't actually have a pipe on me.
I'm not. I can't.
You got pipe?
Do I have pipe? I do actually have some pipe. Jeez. All right. So that here's some normal.
Aha. I thought I came prepared too.
It's okay. I am.
You got everything.
I always do. Even the things I don't want.
So, shall we? So how many? So this will do half a module of robot frame. So it should double the engines and electric engines. Or it depends on how many robots you want, really.
Well, I need quite a few.
Oh, actually, sorry, I got that reversed. One of these will do 2 modules of robot frames.
You mean so one half of these will do 2 modules of robot frames?
When I say modules, I mean the half builds, because it's also like the engine a half build.
Okay, so
Yeah, because
this
the engines are 10 seconds, the frames are 20 seconds.
right. Okay, yeah. So this right here can do a full 2 full modules of robot frames.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean that's probably enough. I mean that chugs away fairly quickly.
And you can drop some speed modules into it too, if you like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's actually another thing, just in case anyone's wondering. I've left modules out of this. It's up to the whoever is deploying it to add modules if they wish. Because this is intended to be like a step from early game into intermediate, like on the Mad Science map that we're doing.
Right.
And we don't have the modules to put modules in the build, so you don't want the request there.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I'm gonna do. So I mean, electric engines could go underneath this if I do the non-unbarreling.
Yep. And so you'll see it now, that gap in between is for a pipe. This is actually new for this version. The original one didn't allow for any sort of fluid transport, and this one, I actually put some thought into it and how to lay it out.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
I can actually do an underground pipe like that. It has the pipe to grounds on the end, so the module can be tiled, which is something to watch out for. If you put, say, a battery build or something else that uses a different fluid, make sure to take these up before you connect the fluids.
Yeah, you're going to have a real bad time if you don't.
On my base, I actually have the engines next to the belt production, so the lubricant shares that link across to the express belt production.
Oh, that's a really good thinking there, actually. So then.
And so that goes straight into the. I've just done that with regular pipe, just to
right,
an indicator. So that goes straight into a pump and then straight in.
Awesome, that is perfect. So then, did we do a robot build up here already, or did we not replace
the bot logistics, but not the robot frames? We didn't actually replace it. No,
we didn't even do the bot logistics yet. Okay, so then the robot frames would probably be smart to be sticking right next to this, if I can find it. Robot frames. Okay,
it should be after gears.
So he goes here. And then I can actually.
I'm just going to preemptively connect a pipe to ground there.
For.
So there's a sulfuric acid unloader here for batteries. So we could squeeze batteries in here.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And then this could actually be a double robot frame thing.
Yep. And that'll balance out the production. This thing, I should say, also is not intended to be perfectly ratioed out production. It's just meant to be something that just chugs away in the background.
Right, exactly. And I mean that's my intention here, obviously, is it's not, it's just meant to produce the robots I need once in a while for an outpost or stuff like that. Okay, so then batteries, could go right here.
Yep, it's the same thing again. It's got one with barreling and one without. And as before, we have the option, we have the pipe to ground for linking them.
Perfect.
Which we don't necessarily want, so we'll take it up and connect it. So now all we need is the pump to push it straight in. We actually need a tank as well, somewhere in there.
That could be interesting. Will a tank fit somehow in this setup? Tank's what, 3x3?
There's a 3x3 either side. Same with the lubricant. Should fit.
Okay. Okay, so there's that. Let's see, what else? We did need... Is there something that would usually go on the other side of this, or do you just double?
You're best off doubling it because of the speed of the production.
Okay.
We'll just get rid of those.
Let's see. So we're still missing bot logistics. Scrolling through here, trying to find... Controller, inserters. Wait, what was that? Nope. Rail logistics, bot logistics. Okay. I think bot logistics. What do these require?
Probably drop it in that corner.
Yeah, this corner. Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah. Here.
It's nice and close to storage because it'll use a lot of steel and gears or iron plate and circuits actually.
That's a good point. Now.
And the unloader's right here.
Very true. I'm looking. There was one power and combinators. We didn't do that yet, did we? Doesn't look like it.
We did power and combinators, then we moved it for
right
for the storage.
And it never got rebuilt. Okay.
Yeah. So power and combinators we could combine with the pipe.
We can.
Oh no, we can't. Sorry, that's inserters. It's a half. I keep forgetting because it's because I changed around some of them with this version.
Right. Well, it could go, I suppose, just down below.
Yep.
I'll just stick it in this corner, actually, below the gears. And speaking of which, inserters, we didn't rebuild either, so I will have that share with pipe.
Yep. It's a good place to put it.
And I'm looking through here, that's most...
So I've got storage, inserters, power, belt. We're ignoring rail and bot, fluid. One of the next ones after production is a dedicated beacon build. So if you need serious beacon production, you can put that down.
Alrighty, let me...
But yeah, it's it'd be worth putting it near the power because there's a copper wire thing there.
That is true. Geez, I need... still need to get used to this. Okay, here we go. So, right.
It more or less follows the order of the inventory.
Oh, okay.
Or the crafting menu in an inventory. So the next one after that is steam and solar. They've got this minimal solar production on that one just because steam only accounts for 4. But you're not going to use any steam engines on this map, so we can skip over that one.
Yep. Nuclear, though.
So you already got the nuclear. Nuclear. So this is the vanilla nuclear, which I believe you're using a mod.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Now, this is a half module. Would it be reasonable to share it with the beacons, do you think?
I have another one for beacons, because beacons actually need copper wire.
Oh, right.
So there is actually a copper wire build for that one.
Okay, then yeah, we'll just stick it. Trying to think what... These need a ton of advanced circuits, copper and steel. I'm wondering... All those unloaders are up top, aren't they?
Yeah. This is actually a special one. If I might just drop it down, and then you'll be able to see. If I just drop it there, the reactors and I think it was the steam turbines have been configured to produce at a fairly low rate. So the reactor will only build one at a time, specifically.
Okay.
And its request amounts are actually quite small. It's 125 of each instead of the full 500. And so it does take a while to build, but that makes sure that it doesn't flood the chest, because it's quite easy to flood the chest. the requester chest with the materials it needs.
That is very true. Okay, well then that's actually probably fine because it doesn't need to build like super fast.
So for the purposes, I've got a special blueprint here, which is a completely blank entity, and you can use that for the advanced nuclear.
Okay.
Reprogramming these are reasonably straightforward, but the way I've set this up is that you don't need to look at combinators.
Oh wow.
Um,
It's really that simple.
so yeah, I probably should have set that to one of the first things. This is the main feature of this thing, is it does a lot of smart things without needing any. You don't need to connect any. So like at this point, we have not edited a single combinator of any kind, and not connected a single circuit wire.
Right, which is pretty significant.
Yeah. So if you're scared of circuit network for doing this sort of thing, don't be. We've done it all for you.
Mojo's come prepared. So
after the nuclear is a dedicated solar build and accumulator build. This is for anyone who wants to do serious solar plants. So you can make everything that just builds solar.
right.
It could be just a controller, the unloads, and then just solar.
Mm-hmm.
Something that is needed is that we should drop down is a power armor module.
Ah, yes, the Mark II power armor. Yeah.
Yep.
So let me throw that down.
Yep.
So then for programming this, is this so I mean, can we just reprogram this now, or is this something we need to?
We are missing some of the combinators, so we might have to wait until they're actually built.
Okay.
I believe it's actually after accumulators is defense. That covers all of your walls, basic one of each turret and radar. So I should drop that one down. We're actually running out of space.
Yeah. I'm looking that I definitely want the ammo one, which maybe I may want to put here.
Yeah, I'd put that there.
And while I'm
Okay.
remembering, let me really quick throw.
So for this one, I'm going to suggest doing something particularly special that you can do. So if you go to the very last one, you scroll through all the modules. Speaking of which, we do actually need to put modules in unless you want to deliver them. So if you have a look through, the last one is called a utility quarter. It produces repair packs, landfill, and barrels.
Mm-hmm.
It's a special one because it only needs 3, and this was something that I was playing around with, but I haven't fully utilized just because it can be a bit messy. What you can do is put that utility quarter down where the beacons are, or opposite the beacons.
Okay. There we go.
Yep. Now go back to the copper wire one.
Find it really quick.
And you can place that over the top of this empty cell that's now half taken up by the utility quarter.
Fantastic. Yeah, and then it just hits in.
And that's now turned the copper wire into a quarter.
I love it. Really, really nice.
That one's still a work in progress. Because there, in some situations, I had the modules actually set up as quarters, but there were some situations where the combinators were opposing each other, because these are mirrored about the center where I'm standing, not mirrored to themselves.
Okay.
Unfortunately, to make them mirrored to themselves, you lose the lamps.
Can't have that.
Because I have to move the combinators there, and I really like the lights. That was something that I just wanted.
Yeah, I mean, the lights are pretty cool. So looking through this, I'm thinking we may want to move to the top side because
yeah,
we still have this entire second half that we can use. And I'm looking through, so we got that.
Yeah, unless you want dedicated speed and productivity builds. So this is the thing with the modules. The speed, productivity, and efficiency modules are sort of intended mainly for making power armors. They're not really intended for supplementing the main base
Right.
or your main production. You really need the dedicated build to do it properly. It's just unfortunately the way it is.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, those are pretty easy to build. The dedicated ones. I mean, I could throw a dedicated one near the make everything and just have some more trains come in or
Yeah.
something.
You might actually be able to squeeze one in this space here.
It's actually a good point.
Might.
Maybe. Seeing what else we need here. We got that. Batteries, engines, electric engines, frames. So, I mean,
I should also note that even though this defense one, up here is, even though there's nothing down here, it's still all connected and ready to run because it's all in the wiring. You can see going up on the left and right hand side is the circuit wires.
yeah, that's a very good point. Now, I do see the speed 1/4, which I would imagine is for the level 3 assemblers.
Yep, that one's specifically for the assemblers.
Which I'm not. I mean, I suppose I could stick it just in the mirror this build here, just stick it in 1/4 of this bottom thing.
Yeah.
Because then the assemblers are made right down there. And then okay, we already did the utility quarter. I'm trying to think what else could go here. Maybe it's just blank.
We could potentially could do another one, but then it wouldn't be mirrored. That's the only catch.
That's true.
I'm just checking. No, it's on the wrong side. I actually had this set up so that you could do like an efficiency one opposite it. But I've actually since changed it. It's, as I say, the quarters thing is something I'm still working on.
Right.
I'm trying to make it sort of balance out the different requirements. There's a more serious one, and then you do like you were going to do the efficiency one below it.
Now, I see what you mean. By planning this out, I may move some things around because, I mean, in hindsight, it would be far more ideal for me to have put these down next to the power armor thing instead of on the entire opposite end.
But it's as we've seen so far, it's fairly straightforward to rearrange it.
Yeah, it's very, very easy. I could just swap some things around. But looking through here, I think that's pretty much it. Because we don't need the belts or anything.
Nope. But the efficiency, productivity we'll do with a dedicated build. Engines.
Don't really need the stone smelter because I'd probably deliver stone.
Laser turrets.
Now, is that... I mean, there is a laser turret thing in the defense, isn't there?
Yeah, but there is a separate dedicated build as well. Oh, actually, we could drop one in the quarter.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Same deal with a copper wire.
Yeah.
And make it a laser turret quarter.
Yeah, let's do that. Here we go. Laser turrets. Perfect. So looking at this, it looks like that this is set up to have stone delivered to it and then smelt stone brick, which actually probably would be easier than for me to have stone brick delivered from somewhere else.
Yeah, it just saves on having a train, because you need the stone for a railway track already.
Yeah, so you'd still need it delivered. So let me find that one really quick. It's near the end, I think. Yeah, and this can go over here, probably. And then the brick's really just needed for the like refineries, walls, and chem plants, I think.
Yeah. This one's actually beaconed as well.
Oh, that is
just to make
interesting.
sure it goes along. Oh, the smelting one's a bit unique in that I did actually module it, even though I said before it wasn't module, because this is actually a specialty one. This is sort of a late game stage.
Yeah.
This one actually came originally from the 15 sim map again, where we delivered stone directly.
Right.
and smelt it. That was a Colonel Will
Kind of
special.
a special, yeah. um, I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything. The last one, I'll just drop another gears down just to fill in the rest of the space.
Yeah, can it?
So now we just need to finish building. Oh, we need to replace the controller because we didn't. We pulled it up but didn't put it back down.
Right. Okay, here we go. So it can go pretty much just as long as it connects in, right?
Yep, as long as it hooks in that substation. So yep, there's no specific order.
Right.
Unless, of course, you have this unloader, then you have to do this first to align it to the track grid.
Mm-hmm.
Because the track aligns every 2 tiles, or even tiles.
Right, yeah. So the track really should be like the first thing you put down.
Yeah, if you got this. This is actually a specialty thing. I don't know if it'll make it an actual thing, just because it's so specific. Like, you needed single-headed 363s and 111 lube trains. It's so specific that I don't know that it's something that I can easily make generic part of the blueprint.
Yeah, I would agree. It is a very nice addition though, because it does save from having to route trains myself, like, and make them actually work. It's fantastic. I feel it's almost like Christmas. I feel so special having having to make everything here. This is like better than my starter base. I mean, really.
It's the new starter base.
Yeah, it's a new starter base.
Now it's all just a matter of building it and turning it on.
Yeah, and I mean, really, there's everything in the train aside from the combinators, which I suppose I'll just have to handcraft enough to get it going.
Yeah. Get the combinator one going and then start pumping resources into it. So just a final note with the controller. So there's 2 rows of, you can sort of see Ghost, there's 2 rows worth. So the back one is a set of pre-programmed things. So as soon as you turn it on, it'll try and produce those.
Mm-hmm.
And then anything you enter in here, it will add on top of that. So it's already set to make some inserters, some trains, bots and such. Combinators. It'll hold a small stockpile of gears. It's more or less one of everything, as it turns out. It doesn't include any power production or belt production. It's only enough to sort of get you through what you generally would need, as well as anything that it needs to make itself, or potentially needs to make itself.
Yeah, that's.
So you would enter belts into this forward row.
Mm-hmm. And then, so if I wanted more of what's already programmed, would it be better to add them in the second row or just change the back row? I mean,
you could do either. If you wanted some sort of fixed amount, you could change the back row, particularly for single player.
yeah.
For multiplayer, it's more. This second row is more intended for.
Okay, that would make sense. Yeah, single player doesn't really matter. I can just change the set configuration.
And one last note with the top one, you'll see it has an E and a color.
Mm-hmm.
So the E is enable. So when that combinator is off, it will turn the whole thing off. And the second one, the color, sets the color of the lights for the machines that are running.
Okay, very cool.
So you can set that color to whatever you like.
Fantastic. This is so cool.
And just and one more note with this version of the controller, this one isn't out yet. So this display won't actually work off the bat. It actually needs a green wire connected from it to this substation right here for it to work.
From just any of these lights to the substation?
Just any light up to the substation.
Okay, I'll have to remember that. That's easy enough.
And for those that don't know, I should also say this display shows how much the raw materials the Make Everything is trying to request.
Right, so like the more lights that are filled means the hungrier it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Very cool. I will have to finish building this because it's going to be a little while. I'm going to have to handcraft quite a lot of combinators because I really wish... One last thing, I know this video is really long, but one last thing, a feature request just in general, I think it would be quite nice if you could like designate a certain area in which you want your bots to build. I mean, obviously you have your range, but like, you know, if I want the combinators that I make to only go to the combinator crafting area, I have to like position myself exactly so they don't go build them
Yeah,
elsewhere.
just perfectly.
Yeah,
That's so
it
annoying.
is really annoying. So it'd be cool if you could just some type of planner or something, and you could just, you know, be like logistics planner and just mark out an area, and they'll only build what's in that area. I don't know, something like that'd be cool. So I'll have to do some sort of little tricky something, finicky something to turn on just the combinator area. But other than that, it should be good to go. This is absolutely fantastic. These trains should tie in quite nicely. And
Oh yeah, I actually just noticed there's a red wire missing here going to the roboport, so make sure to plug that in.
oh, from this substation.
Yeah, I was actually in the next one along. For some reason, it's disappeared.
Finicky blueprints.
Mm.
I can actually just do that here. So just him to him.
And that, just as a final note for this build, shouldn't connect to the main network. That would be bad if it did.
Yeah, that would not be good. Definitely don't want this connected to the main base network. But I think that's gonna do it for now. Thank you very much for coming in and helping me set this up and the explanation. I'm sure people will appreciate that.
Hopefully there's lots of questions, and I'm sure there's a lot of people. Where's the blueprint?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put it with the railway track blueprints, I think.
Yeah, the blueprint will be released at some point in the future. I don't know an exact time, but don't you worry, it will be out at some point. And yeah, any thoughts, comments, questions you have, leave down in the comments. If I cannot answer them, I will direct them to Mojo, and hopefully he can answer anything you guys are wondering about.
Hopefully I remember to check too.
I'll poke you if there's something that I can't answer.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
All right. Anyway, thanks again, and that'll do it, guys. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.